Hello, my research paper topic is on corporate capitalism and human agency. Specifically, my thesis is that through the creation of an imposed reality, the post-apocalyptic genre exposes how the structural force of corporate capitalism strips humans of individual agency over their own lives. So this is a lot of different concepts here. So I'm going to be going through the three main ones and laying out the definitions of these and a framework into how they play into the rest of my research topic. So first, there's the concept of an imposed reality, and this is really built upon the philosopher Jean Baudrillard's idea of a postmodern hyper-reality in which the real is replaced by the simulated and the imaginary, which imposes this reality upon the postmodern society. And Baudrillard's ideas are very influential in a lot of different areas, but including the post-apocalyptic genre, and especially The Matrix, which is heavily influenced by these concepts. Secondly, we have corporate capitalism, which is a structure defined by a capitalistic market economy and dominated by large bureaucratic corporations. And finally, the concept of individual agency, which is characterized by having free will over one's own choices and one's own actions. So the three texts that I'm going to be talking about is The Matrix, Cabin in the Woods, and Orson Craig. I will also be quoting directly from two secondary sources, along having another one which underpins a lot of my ideas about The Matrix. So going into my thoughts about The Matrix and how this relates to my overall topic, the part I want to focus on is the beginning of the film where Neo is still in the Matrix and we see him operating in this cubicle in a very corporate job. My argument here is that his corporate job and the physical place that he occupies represents the dominating structure of corporations as the simulated world, the Matrix, takes the form of a standard corporate environment. In this situation, the imposed reality is Neo's corporate job, and he's losing agency because he is in a prison that he cannot taste or see or touch. Next, we have Orson Craig, and I'll be focusing on the Bliss Plus pill for this. Now, the development and the distribution of the Bliss Plus pill represents how corporations' control over society's desires supersedes individual agency, which inevitably causes the apocalypse. In this case, the imposed reality is imposed by the corporations and is done through corporation media propaganda. There's a very good quote from one of the sources saying that corporations implant stories in people's minds about their tightly controlled media that present to the population what's defined by the capitalists as the appropriate way of living, eating, and even lovemaking. So we see through the Bliss Plus pill how society has become so controlled by what corporations want them to think and desire that this apocalyptic ending is very inevitable. Despite our protagonist, Jenny, being very involved in this, he's really hopeless because he's a representation of the everyman in the society and therefore does not have much agency over his own situation. Finally, we have Cabin in the Woods, and there's a concept that's used many times throughout the film of puppets and puppeteers. And I'm going to be talking about how the corporate workers in the control room strip away the free choice and individuality of the cabin members, which creates a clear connection between a stereotypical American corporate environment and corporations' impact on society, which otherwise largely goes unseen and unknown. So the imposed reality in this case is very obvious. It's the setting of the cabin itself and everything that is done to manipulate both this setting and the characters. There's a very potent quote from one of the sources saying that while it is the old gods that require the yearly sacrifice, it is the humans who have in essence industrialized it. And this really shows how it is the industrialization, the corporate capitalist society that is imposing this lack of free will upon the humans. So the broader implication for my research paper is about how, well, all these texts point to kind of warning for the postmodern society in which corporations dominate society's new reality. It is also a reflection of the current state of our modern world, in which the structure of corporate capitalism dominates people's lives in ways that often go unseen. Here are my works cited, and if you have any questions about my topic, feel free to ask.